I feel like we have to talk to her. He's obviously not budging on this. Okay.
I would like to expedite the matter. The trial will take place in Sassaw Church in 3 days' time at the latest. Come and let me know when you're ready to proceed. In the meantime, I will continue my investigation.
Oh, very well, Monsignor. I had better get on with it.
Yeah, we have the document, but I mean...
Farewell.
Before you go...
I don't know.
You know Johanka longer than anyone else. You spent a lot of
time...
That might
just get us in more trouble.
I've discovered. Tell me, my son, truthfully, what do you think of this whole affair?
We are leaning in.
About the Virgin Mary? I believe the Virgin does.
Go get him, Johanka!
Johanka is honest.
I'm with you.
She wouldn't lie about such a thing. And the things she says sound truthful and compelling. It really does seem like a heavenly revelation. Who else could it be from? But the Virgin Mary.
The origin of these so-called visions of hers must be investigated. But thank you for your candor.
She's so very dead.
Tell me?
You know what? Here's the thing. This is what I've worked out in my head. Now, obviously, I've never done this before, so I have no idea if this is going to work, and I don't even know if it's an option. But here's what I think. This is a pretty wild world these characters live in. Medieval times were pretty crazy. At this point, I think if we were to try to convince people that she was not with the Virgin Mary, that they would actually think she's a witch and probably burn her. Because they would think at that point she was being heretical, she wasn't being visited by the Virgin Mary, and they would most likely kill her because at that point, knowing that she didn't meet them or convincing her that she didn't, they would probably burn her at the stake. However, we have a book from the religious people that say that women can have visions. We have a priest who is clearly somewhat open to it. I'm starting to think that if we lean into this hard enough, we can convince everyone she's right, and maybe something good will happen. So, I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe that's just going to get her killed even harder. Maybe they're going to burn her twice. But I'm not seeing many other outcomes. I mean, remember, people got burned for heretical stuff all the time. Like, at this point, we're so far into it, like, we're either going to come out on the other side or we're just going to go out in a blaze of glory. You know what I mean? So,
Johanka is an honest girl and virtuous. She's a good Christian who attends church and thinks of others.
Good. Please continue.
Johanka helped a lot of people. She worked her fingers to the bone helping Brother Nicodemus with the sick and injured.
That is certainly commendable. What else can you tell me about her?
I wonder if some of these we shouldn't tell her. Or shouldn't tell him. I'm going to say this, but I wonder if he's going to be like, oh, well, that's a reason that maybe she's doing it to help him or something.
She's worried about Matthias. He's from Skalitz too, and she's very fond of him. But he was wounded in a raid on Merhojed recently, and since then he's been lying in a fever. Johanka believes that if she does what the Blessed Virgin wants of her, Matthias might be healed.
Interesting.
Okay, so that sounded nothing but
Anything
positive.
else?
Okay.
Well, before, in Skalitz, Johanka was sort of, well, just a simple village girl. I never imagined I'd hear her talking the way she does now. She's completely transformed.
A simple village girl. I see. Do continue.
Maybe. She didn't treat everyone equally. She took better care of her former Skalitz neighbours than of the other patients, of course.
It's understandable, yes. Some people are dearer to her than others, but whether by doing so she sinned. Anything else, Henry?
That's about all I can tell you.
Thank you, my son. One more thing before you go. Let me remind you that it's your Christian duty to report anything suspicious going on concerning the Church and the true faith. If you're aware of anything of the sort in these parts, if you prove yourself a commendable servant of the Church, I would also take that into account in judging Johanka's case.
All right, Monsignor. I'll bear that in mind.
Good luck, then.
Monsignor, I've heard of various irregularities in the province that might be of interest to you.
Very good, my son. A good Christian certainly shouldn't conceal such things. Please, Speak.
A demon's skull was found on the church building site.
Oh, Mr. MX says
Yes.
only report 2 of
I
these.
heard something about
Okay.
it. A disturbing report. Tell me what you know about it.
It was a deception, sir. Someone made it with evil
Oh!
intentions to frighten people. I found the skull and brought it to the local knacker. He confirmed it was a human skull with
Maybe I
animal
shouldn't have told him
horns
that
stuck
one.
on.
Oh, no,
You did
do the
the right thing,
Waldisians?
Henry.
Okay, okay.
In uncovering the deception and in telling me about it.
There were Valdensians hiding in Ujits.
Really? And how did you find out about it?
Sir Hanish sent me to help the vicar track them down and catch them.
So, Sir Hanish had an interest in finding them?
No? Yes.
Yes, that's right.
I'm pleased to hear it. It's not always possible to see eye to eye with secular lords in such matters. And how did it end up with the members of the sect?
They fled. The vicar is still trying to track them down.
That's unfortunate. Let's hope the vicar succeeds promptly in his mission.
That's it for now.
That's all, Monsignor.
All right, Henry. Thank you.
Should I do all of these? I don't want to do this one. We just did that one. I don't think this one will help. We'll go ahead and see if these clear out. We don't need to. Yeah, I don't want to like upset him. I don't just want to get rep downs back and forth, you know? These are all basically arguing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. You're right. Okay, so let's see like what we're supposed to do. Like, are we supposed to go talk to other people and collect evidence and stuff? Yeah, okay. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. I should probably save here, shouldn't I? Did it just save? No. Let's do it. Let's do an actual save. Okay. Quest is time for 3 days. We're just gonna do everything right now. We're gonna do the whole thing right now.
Brother Nicodemus,
You've heard something?
the Inquisitor has decided that Johanka will be tried, but he's agreed that I can defend her.
That's really quite unusual. It must mean he hasn't come to a clear conclusion yet.
Yes. I'll get her out of it.
I'm afraid it may not be that easy. The thing is, I expect Johanka will say the same things before the court that she's been preaching.
What are you saying?
Well, I've been thinking about what she's been saying, and it seems to me her preaching has a certain progression. Are you acquainted with the notion of the 3 orders of man?
Not really, no.
It's like this. It's said that everyone has their God-given place and purpose on earth. Laboratores, oratores, and bellatores. Those who work, those who pray, and those who fight. The common folk are born to work, to reap the fruits of the earth and to obey the laws of God and man. It is the purpose of the nobles to protect the people and the church against all dangers and to maintain peace and justice on earth. And the church in turn has the task of caring for the spiritual welfare of all, ensuring the salvation of their souls and bringing solace to the people in times of hardship, so that they can endure their earthly trials and enter the kingdom of heaven.
But what's all that got to do with Johanka?
Well, I noticed in her first sermon she primarily addressed the concerns of the common folk, and in the second she criticized the nobility.
Wait a second. What?
Adela the bath maid was dead in my last playthrough. I reloaded some saves to figure out why. Apparently a guard just decided he had enough of her and killed her.
That can happen? Oh. Well.
Ah. So you think she might start talking about the church?
Yes, I'm afraid she might. I dread to think how that might end up. Henry, you must warn her against that. She must show humility before the Inquisitor, and the wisest course would be to admit to being wrong. She's rather stubborn, but perhaps she'll listen to you.
But the Inquisitor said no one's allowed to see her.
No one except the Inquisitor's own men.
Wait, so
You'll just have to think something
damn,
up.
so we shouldn't...
I'm afraid Johanka's fate is mainly in
Oh,
your
no.
hands now. I'm relying on you. See you later.
Interesting. So I think we're gonna have to get her to admit to being
Adela,
wrong then.
the Inquisitor is going to try Johanka in court.
Oh, Lord. I hope she's acquitted.
okay.
I was absolutely devastated when they took her away.
Oh, talk to him again. I
I
will.
need people to speak in her defense, and I'd like to ask you to do it.
I don't want to go there. Really. I'm afraid of that Inquisitor. But you helped me, and so did Johanka. It's only right that I should try and help her. But what am I supposed to say there? I'm just a simple village girl. I don't know anything about these things.
That doesn't matter. You just be yourself. It should be enough to talk about all the good Johanka does here, and how she helps others. I'll send for you if you're needed.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Cool. Okay.
Witnesses can be summoned for Johanka's trial. So I wanted to ask you if you give a testimony. Maybe some learned speech in her defense?
I'd be glad to do it. Johanka deserves my help. Such testimonies could carry a lot of weight. You should try and get as many as you can.
What actually happened?
Johanka told me you went to
Yeah?
The Inquisitor apparently had a... But then...
I heard about all this.
Is it?
Oh, that was the option. Okay.
Good luck, then.
Okay. Oh. Should we get Sir Sebastian, I guess? I mean, he's the guy crushing on her that she's not really super fond of, but... Oh, Goobser. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Let's see what you're saying.
It's not that she is lying about the visions. It's she is wrong in interpreting them and preaching to the people.
Makes sense. Oh. Is he not up? Oh, you're above me. Hi.
God save.
I need something from you, sir. I suppose you heard that Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor and is facing charges of heresy.
I did, and it's most disturbing news.
What you might not know is that he's agreed that I can defend her at the trial.
You? Do you even know what to say?
Sure I know. It'll turn out just fine. Trust me. But I need you to testify at the court. In Johanka's defense, of course.
Naturally. You don't think I could just sit here and do nothing? Besides, the bishop has already insisted that I appear before the court.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
One moment. I apologize if I was a little hasty. This whole affair has left me anxious. I appreciate that you want to defend her. However, I don't think it would have any effect. No offense, but I don't think you'll be able to achieve anything in court. I'm afraid the Inquisitor will judge as he sees fit, whatever anyone says. But I have an idea how you could help.
Oh? How's that?
Go on.
Flee. With Johanka, of course.
No.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm sure Johanka will be acquitted by the court and everything will be all right. Running would just confirm the Inquisitor's suspicions.
Right?
And she'd always be looking over her shoulder.
I don't agree. As I said, I don't believe you can affect the outcome of the court. If Johanka flees, yes, she'll have to lie low for a while. But in time, it will all blow over. You can take her anywhere, as long as it's far enough from here. A girl like that will always find her feet. She can easily hide out somewhere where she's not known. Maybe there could even be a place for her on my estate. Think about it. But whatever you decide, if
Really?
Johanka comes
You
to
don't
any
say.
harm, you'll have me to answer to. I'm very fond of her, and her of me, and I don't want anything to happen to her, understand? But if everything ends well, I'll show you my gratitude, I assure you. See you later.
Okay. So I guess that's it with him, huh? Oh, Pavel. Yeah, let's go talk to Pavel. Oh, I probably shouldn't fast travel, should I? We are on a time limit. Fast traveling and time limit does not go well together.
Trouble with you, Henry.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, chickens.
Yeah.
God, the horse hoof sounds on the terrain are just amazing. He did such a good job with that. Agreed, Nuriel, completely. Hi.
Here, enjoy it.
Goodman Pavel, you're still here. That's a relief. I was afraid I'd miss you.
Yes, yes, still here, but not for long. I had some business to deal with, but now that's out of the way and I'm getting ready to leave. What was it you wanted?
Oh, Ubi.
You might have heard that Johanka was arrested by the Inquisitor.
That's a great idea.
And is facing trial.
Indeed, word has reached me. Poor girl.
I'd like to ask you to speak to the court in Johanka's defense.
Of course, Henry. You have my word. And the word of a burgher of Colleen ought to mean something. But to speak in defense of someone accused of heresy is no small matter. What do you want me to say?
The same thing you told me. That it was a sacred sign that you happened to be nearby when Johanka was speaking, and so on.
True. I'll tell the bishop that. You can rest assured.
Thank you very much. Please wait here a few more days for the court to convene, then I'll send for you.
All right. For Johanka's sake, I'll wait.
Wait.
God be with you.
Okay, first of all, you had some great advice from chat.
How about fleeing to Spain with Johanka? I don't expect any inquisition there.
You know what? That's a great idea, and you look exactly like the kind of guy that would say that. You look like you'd love a good heretic, don't you? Okay. Anyway, let's see what you did there. Second of all, can someone confirm this, please? Is this accurate?
Only 11 people made KCD1. Over 250 plus devs made KCD2.
Was Warhorse Studios really only 11 people when KCD1 was made?
My pleasure.
It was around 20? But I mean, that's still tiny. It was tiny. It was closer to 20. Oh, wait, Machiavelli says more like 80 to 100. Oh, that's a bit different. Nuriel says I heard it was like 25. 11 initially, but by the end of development, it was 100. Oh, okay. So it started small, but then during development, they brought in more. Oh, but point of it is still tiny. Yeah. And 11 at the start. That's still wild. It's still really wild. But I have to admit, like, bringing in new people while you develop a game is one thing. Starting a project with a developed team is a completely different thing. And if it's really true that there's 250 people with the team that ended up making this game on KCD2, like all of a sudden it's starting to make a lot of sense that we're hearing a lot of really good things about it. That's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting. Yeah. Really is Leered. Man, I gotta watch like a document on this.
It is mad tot hink this game was turned down every publisher.
I didn't know that. Yeah, dude, has NoClip made a documentary on these guys yet? I haven't had a lot of time to watch NoClip lately. I wonder if they've made a documentary on this. They probably have.
Right up.
I gotta go, like, I gotta go see. This sounds like such a cool story. They did. Okay, yeah, I felt like I heard they did. I don't know if it was of the company or of a specific product by them. But anyway, yeah, that sounds wildly cool, man. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about this as we continue. Wow, everyone we have to talk to is here? That's good, I guess. Okay. Let's go down and start talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to play KCD1 to play KCD2. I mean, no one can answer that right now. But what I will say is that KCD2 is the same character in a different part of the world, I believe. But we have no idea how many characters from KCD1 are going to be in that game. We have no idea how many. Like, the thing is, if you've never played the sequel, the question is, do I need to play the previous ones first? Is only a question the devs can answer. Because it entirely depends on the devs' perspective on if they wanted us to have a KCD1 be a requirement, if they wanted that to be. Like, there's a potential that they just didn't put anyone from KCD1 and KCD2, that they reintroduced every mechanic, and they reintroduced every character with a little introduction, specifically because they don't want people to have to play this game first. Or they could have gone the other direction with it and added in tons of Easter eggs, tons of characters that are never going to get an introduction. You'll only know if you played KCD1, and have a more richer, deeper experience because you played the first game. So those are just design decisions at that point. Like, that's not necessarily a, you know, you can't, yeah, no idea. That's a TLDR. I have no idea. I have no clue how they're going to do it, but I can't wait to see.
I'll be with you, Well, how did it go with that husband of mine?
Well, we sat down and talked, and in the end, I talked him out of playing dice.
Did you? Mother of God, that's wonderful news. How on earth did you do it?
Look here, I'll tell you what happened, but you mustn't breathe a word of it.
All right.
Ambrose got really drunk. I took his money, and in the morning, I told him he'd lost it all at dice. He took it really hard, and he promised he'd never gamble again.
Aha. Well, if you think he really means it. And what about the money? Did you give it back to him?
Yeah, I gave it back to him so he can buy what he needs.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you, Henry.
Maybe I should have said keep it between men, but that's okay.
I need your help with something. I'm sure you've
I feel like
heard.
that still was all right.
Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor.
Who hasn't? The whole of Sasso is talking about it. And the Inquisitor was asking around about her.
I'd like to ask you to appear before the court and say something in Johanka's defence.
I can't say I'm keen on going there. But Johanka helped me. And you did too. I think it's only right that someone should say something good about her.
Ah, thanks, Guta. I appreciate it. I'll send for you when it's time.
Two things in chat. Is there drop frames today? Yes, but I'm not on it. I'm doing errands and February prep this afternoon, so I will not be on it this week. And then the next question was, next thing was, Angry Joe Show played 6 hours of KCD2 and it looked great and has even more freedom. Dude, here's what's wild. Okay. I have seen probably 10 to 15 blurbs. I've not read any of the KCD2 first impressions. Haven't read any of them. But what I have read are the blurbs from them and the tweets that the people are making. I have yet to see somebody talk about KCD2 that was not wildly impressed, talked about it specifically not having a lot of bugs, and many of them have mentioned that this is game of the year quality. KCD2. It's messing with my hype levels. Like, I'm hearing so many good things about KCD2 that, like, a part of me is like, it's messing with me. Like, I'm starting to hope, I'm starting to get concerned I'm going to go in with too high expectations. Like, or is it that good? Like, I don't know. Like, is it really that good? Like, I'm already excited for it. But I was going in, like, with tempered expectations because I played the first one. So, like, it's wild. It's a wild situation right now. I'm doing my best to stay level-headed, but I keep hearing from people that I, like, relatively trust. Like, yeah, this game's absolutely incredible. Like, dude, I saw one of them that was like, move over, Joel and Ellie. Like, we got a new couple in here with Henry and Hans. And I was like, what? Who? What? Like, are you like, how would you, really? That's a huge thing to say. That's not a little thing. Like, that's, could it really be that good? Like, that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Jesus.
Who are Joel and Ellie? The leads from Last of Us. Yeah. Basically, somebody was saying that the narrative in KCD2 rivals Last of Us, which is arguably, from the game at least, the first one, like a super well-told narrative. Yeah. I hope they weren't talking. Oh God, were they talking about the second one? Oh, maybe it's not very good. Okay. Can we get in here? I think we have to. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm in that boat too. I'm cautiously optimistic. Yep. That's kind of, I'm going in expecting the same experience I had when I played this game the first time. And I'll be thrilled if it's better. There we go. Oh.
Father, Vincent of Merhoyed sent me to you.
Damn.
What's the matter, my son?
I'm bringing Vincent's last will and testament.
Almighty Father, be merciful. What happened?
Master Vincent has been taken seriously ill. A disease has spread in Merhoyed.
Yes, I did hear that people are sick in some village hereabouts. God in heaven, but Vincent is still alive?
Yes, for now.
Let us hope the good Lord will leave him here with us a while longer. Thank you for bringing it to me. If Vincent passes on, I'll see to his wishes. Here, take a few coins for your trouble.
Thank you, Father.
Legend Seeker. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And I say this before I say this. Let me make very clear that I say this from a purely analytical, objective standpoint as a gamer who watches the industry and the people that talk about it. But especially lately, I do have to say, like, I hate that we live in a world where there may be a chance that we see articles about KCD2 talking about its lack of diversity. Like, I really, really hope that doesn't become a thing. Because it really, like, it's going to be real uncomfortable if they try to do that. It's going to just, I really, really hope they don't do that. Because I know there were some articles like that for KCD1. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, don't, it's just...
Father,
yeah.
The Inquisitor has had Johanka thrown in jail.
I know, son.
He's planning a hearing.
Rightly so. It's about time this whole matter was dealt with.
No, I'm the same way. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm all for diversity, absolutely, especially when it's done well. I love it. It's more realistic, honestly. But that's the thing. It's more realistic when it's done well. If it's not done well, it's actually immersion breaking. And so, like, it's this weird situation where it's kind of like you can't, like, if they were to try to do that in KCD2, it would totally mess with it. It would not work. It'd be weird. Like, it just like, the whole point of these games is immersion, and that, like, snaps you out of it immediately. So the authenticity is such an important thing where it's like, if you break authenticity, the whole thing can kind of fall apart, you know? So it's going to be interesting. Like, I have to say, I'm going to be paying attention to that conversation to see, like, what happens.
What do you think about it then?
As I say, it's a good thing that the matter is being investigated. The things Johanka has been preaching are, to say the least, disturbing. Who knows what these dreams are that she speaks of? And her words are only putting ideas in people's heads and leading them astray. Now, instead of going to church, as they should, they go to her in the false belief that they will find solace. It's creating a chasm between the people and the church and leading them away from the true teaching left to us by Christ. They're misguided and swamped in heretical ideas.
Hey, chat, do me a solid. I know we got like almost 8,000 people in here. I do see some people who are actively, awesomely discussing this in really respectful and thoughtful ways. But I'm also seeing that us all doing that is bringing out some folks that aren't so much. So let's. Sorry, I've said my piece. I'll keep quiet. Let's go ahead and, Jesus Christ be saved, and we'll move on. Yeah, I know I started this decadent austerity. Perfect name for this, by the way. I'm sorry. We'll move on. We'll move on. I will say though, I saw a lot of really good discussion there. If you're one of those people, thank you. I appreciate you. See, this is weird. So Now all of a sudden I'm wondering, like, do we even want this guy here? Because he is not feeling it. And I'm also wondering, should we even try to convince him? I'm going to try this. Yeah.
But Johanka is only saying what the Virgin Mary has told her. What can be wrong with that?
And how do you know the Virgin is really talking to her?
Well, I believe she's telling the truth.
Ah, but you
Tell
can't
me about
be
the
sure,
demon thing.
Can you? Do you really think a girl from the stable knows God's teaching better than the church? Better than the generations of church fathers and learned scholars since the time of Christ, who have studied the sacred scriptures and their correct interpretation? With all the evil that's already going on in this province, the last thing people need is a false prophet.
I'm not that small, shut up. That's his name, by the way. He says, maybe to change the subject, I was curious what your background is because you seem to be very knowledgeable with coding and graphic design and everything revolving around computers and the gaming world. First of all, love the name. Second of all, my background is vast. I've always been kind of like a hobby computer guy. I've built websites over the years, done graphic design, was in school for computer science, did IT for years and years and years, built computers professionally, DJ'd, produced music, wrote for websites. Like it, basically the short of it is, how do I know all the stuff I know these days? Because I'm a pretty antisocial dude with a technology boner. And most of my days growing up were spent either by myself or a small group of friends, Googling my interests and figuring out whatever I wanted to do. And my interests were basically around computers and things of that nature. When my first game dev venture happened, which unfortunately failed, I taught myself to code, taught myself C# and Unity and made the demo. And, that took about half a year and of going through tutorials and stuff like that. And, I've done the same for websites and I did the same for music production, all that stuff. Basically, if I was ever interested in anything, I would just take a few months of my life and teach myself it. So yeah, the problem is now I'm getting to the point where I'm just forgetting it all. So, we have a few good bits of knowledge here and there left, but most of it's on the way out, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Chat, he's saying he hyper-focused the ish out of it and he's old, so he's had lots of hyper-focuses. Yeah, that's exactly right. Also, I'm super ADHD. So what I would tend to do, and what I still tend to do in my life, is I come up with a project, tell myself, this is an awesome idea, I need to do this. Start working on it, start learning cool things, and then before it's done, come up with another project. And then I'm off to do that. And then that first project, but you see, when you do that enough, you start picking up like little skills here and there. So it's I'm very jack of all tradies these days. Like I know I'm not really very good at anything, but I got a lot of general random computer knowledge all over the place. Yeah. And more importantly, I'm still, if I ever want to learn about something, I just do. And still have that skill down, thankfully. So yeah. Tell me about that workout project, Mr. Ben. Yeah, I got to start that back up. That's another one. All right. I'm gonna out this Jesus guy. Ready for this? Boom.
Christ also came from a stable, though.
There's no comparison. Christ was the Son of God.
Wait, he was?
Enough of this. Bishop Yaroslav asked me to present my suspicions before the court, and that's what I intend to do. He will then resolve the whole matter. He is, after all, more qualified than anyone to do so.
If you say so, Father.
Farewell.
You know what, dude? I'm just gonna take all your ish because you seem like a jerk. Yeah. I'm gonna take your carrot, take your bread, take your money. I'm gonna take that key because I want to. Why do you have an axe on you? Come on now.